Hello, my name is Dr. Ri'Cha Sancho, and I am here to help you understand a little about APA 7, the beginning aspects of it. I have a son who started dual credit courses, and the first course was in English, and I have a few students that I've tutored there, and I've recognized that there are similar differences amongst the information that they don't know, just becoming new college students, being in an English course and trying to figure out APA citations. Little do they know also that APA 7 is fairly recent, and APA 6 information that they may find online is no longer valid when they are trying to produce the type of citations that are needed for their papers. And so it's kind of an exciting time, but at the same time, it's very confounding and it can be confusing. So I'm here to try and make that time easier for you. Rather than to keep my camera on this entire time, I'm going to turn it off now, but I just wanted to introduce myself to you and to let you know why I am here today. So again, basic in-text citations and maybe a few notes that people don't typically share with you. That's what I'm here to help produce for you. So let's go ahead and begin. This will be a very quick presentation, but if you have questions, I will direct you to some other resources, and you're welcome to place them in the chat or to send us an email at connect@k12civilleadership.com.
Now, APA stands for American Psychological Association, and it's a format that is used primarily in the social sciences so that everyone, all scholars and all researchers, are able to understand the formatting that is used from one place to the next, and that readers can actually find information very simply and expeditiously when they are reading reports and research studies. So here in this example, you will notice two sets of highlights. The first introduces three theorists and the date that their works were made. The second introduces one theorist and the date that his work was made in a sentence that is paraphrasing some information from that work. For your in-text citations, you will follow the same format for APA 7. You will introduce the name of the writers or the authors of the study or the work, followed by a comma and then the date that work was published. Be sure to place the comma behind the second parenthesis or the closing parenthesis. Remember that paraphrasing is taking an author's work and analyzing that work and placing it in your own words, and you want to ensure that you're giving credit to the researcher or the author for what they have said, while also expressing their point of view in different words. If you are going to use a quote from them, which means to say their words verbatim, then we'll look at that example next. There is a different way that you are to list that in your in-text citation. But always remember to give credit to those ideas that others have before you as you are explaining them or refocusing them to another group. So a citation is a reference to a source, and an in-text citation is placing that reference in a passage. Verbatim means to copy or duplicate words exactly as they were stated originally. And you can see from this particular passage that the words stereotyped and conventional are in quotation marks, which indicates these words were taken from the original passage verbatim, just as they were written or said. Following that, you will see the name of the author as well as the date. That stays the same, but then after that we have another comma and we have the page number, which is indicated with the letter P and then the actual numeric number to describe the page that those words appeared on. And if you chose to write an entire quote or an entire sentence, you would simply place those words in quotation marks and it would be the same listing as you see here, the author's name, the year, followed by P and then a period and then the page number. I should note that if you use 40 words or more in a quotation from an original text, that there is a block quote format that needs to be used, which is different from this one. This is a different example to show you another way to use an in-text citation of a direct quote. Notice we're using more words in this quotation, and we are ending with the page number, but we are starting with the author's name at the beginning of the sentence. When that happens, the author's name will carry the year, which is 1977, and then directly after the quotation or the quoted words, again we can use verbatim, we will use the page number. See the difference in the parentheses and how they only surround the page, page 51, and then it ends with a period. So it's just like you're breaking up your citation into two pieces. One piece goes along with the author's name, and then the rest goes right after the quotation. In this next example, we will see the highlight in the bottom right-hand side of the corner of the passage, and it stands for Lebedeva et al., period, comma, and then the publication year. This is the type of citation we use when there are 3 or more authors in a work. And this is the type of citation that you will use even if it is the first citations listing in your passage or any place in your work. In previous formats of APA, there's been a time where you would have to list all of the authors' names initially, and then you would state et al. The second time you use them in the work. But with APA 7, the very first time you list 3 authors or more on a work or publication, you're going to make sure you place et al. Period, then comma, and then the year. So next we're going to look at the citation. This is what it will look like in your list. You will notice we have the names of all of the authors here spelled out. The last names are spelled out, followed by a comma, and then the first name initial, and then an additional one if they have a middle name, followed by the year, a period, and then I note in red there is an I that is capitalized for the very first letter of the title of this work, but then the next word or the second word does not have a capital letter or an uppercase. Notice after the colon there is in capital A because we want to make sure that we keep any word that begins after the colon capitalized. In the highlighted area, that's the name of the publication. You will notice that it is italicized, followed by a comma, and then we have italics for the number 54, which indicates a potential volume, followed by a comma, and then we have the page numbers. Again, back to that A, it's capitalized to remind you always to capitalize the letter that follows the colon. Now, sometimes there's a question as to which letter or abbreviation in the name goes first. As you can see here, the name Shannon Durain Motts is broken down so that the first name is actually the first to list after the last name, and then the middle name Durain looks like the last initial, followed by a comma if there is another author's name that will follow this, as we see in the example above. Now, the final piece to this citation will be the DOI number, which stands for Digital Object Identifier. It's just a way for us to locate a work online. You want to ensure that you have this listed as a hyperlink if you can hyperlink it using the doi.org address. Please make sure you add this for any publication that has it. If it does not have one, then you will not have to list it there. Let's look at the references now. So references will be listed in alphabetical order according to the name of the authors in ascending order. And we notice Alport here. This is a book reference, not just because the publishing company has the word book in it, but because the name or title of the book is italicized. That tells us right away it's not a research publication, but it is a book. You'll notice the second reference looks similar. It is the same. New in APA 7's formatting is that you do not have to put the location, the city, and the state in which the publishing company is housed. Last, we can see our example that we used before. So we see A, B, and L, all of which are in alphabetical order. Now remember, if you have any questions, feel free to email us at connect@k12civilleadership.com. And if this was helpful to you in any way, please like and subscribe to our channel. We'll have more later. Thanks for watching.